Hi, I'm Sir Zion. I'm a cosplayer and prop builder, and today I'm talking about my first two costumes, the Courier Duster from Fallout New Vegas and the Vault 101 jumpsuit from Fallout 3. If you follow me on Facebook and on Tumblr, you've already seen all my progress pics, my process for putting all these costumes together, but I'm just going to go ahead and go over them in real time for you. So, the Courier Duster was my very first costume. I made it for Emerald Coast Con last year, which was a new convention in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. To start, I took a regular men's t-shirt from Walmart in beige, just cut it up, cut the neckline, cut off the hem, cut some holes. I weathered it by spraying it with antiquing spray, just that walnut ink spray, and brushing a little bit of brown acrylic paint over it. And so that was it for the undershirt. I took the scraps from that and I glued them over these pieces of craft foam. My whole spiel is budget cosplay. I just never let any material go to waste. So these are just all scrap pieces. This as well. And the buttons are actually just wooden buttons that I painted with gunmetal acrylics, which is the same paint I used to paint all my prop weapons as a base coat. So yeah, definitely nothing goes to waste. And as for the duster itself, when I started cosplaying last year, I hadn't sewn anything since 2008, so I was extremely rusty, and I decided I was going to be ambitious and make a pattern myself. So I ended up having to take 3 of my own jackets, a trench coat, my greaser jacket, and some other jacket, I forget, and I made a pattern from that for the front of the jacket and the back piece. The pattern turned out to be nowhere near accurate, so I had to modify it 3 times before I was happy with how it fit on me. The fabric I bought from Walmart, it was $7 a yard in the clearance section. I honestly don't know what it's made of. The thing said synthetic, mix of synthetic fabrics, so that's what it is. But it feels kind of canvasy. It's a heavier, more durable material, but it frays so easily. And I did not do the seams because I was sewing this until 2 a.m. before the convention, as I always do. So when I cut out each pattern piece, it's double layered. It just consists of this front piece to the left, this front piece to the right, and the back piece is made out of 2 pieces as well. Cut those together, sew them together, and then I had to figure out the collar. The collar was another piece I had to make a pattern for myself, and it took a lot of trial and error to get a pattern that still was not right. So once I cut out the fabric to the pattern piece, I had to alter every measurement on every side until I got it to lay right on the main pieces. The front lapels, same thing. Had to cut out my own pattern piece for them. They weren't the right size, so once before I attached them, I was putting them up to the front flaps, trying to figure out how they would fit, which measurements would be correct, and when I finally got it, I had to figure out how to sew them in without any of the seams looking weird. Because I decided I was going to sew the sides first, and it's double layered, so I had 2 frayed edges of fabric for the flaps. And what I ended up doing was I folded each side, or each layer, inwards, and then I pinned the lapels in and sewed them like this. It looks alright. It's not the process I would do again, but it worked out for the duster. I didn't do the bottom edges, or the bottom seam, because I was going to weather and distress it, but I just never got around to it. And then I semi-retired this costume, so it's just like this. The back, I decided I was going to do the 21 because my main playthrough from Fallout New Vegas was independent. So I just printed out a spade, cut it out, pinned it on, just traced around it, and then painted it black. Then I did the same thing for the numbers. I tried to find a font that was close enough to the one in game. Just pinned them on, and then traced them, and then just painted them yellow. So yeah, that was my Courier Duster. It was around a week-long process. No, I take that back. It was shorter than that because I decided I was going to wait 5 days before the convention to start. Oh, I also did the knee guards. When I made these, the convention had already started. I made these for the second day of the convention. I didn't even prime the craft foam. It's just made of craft foam and spare fabric from the duster. I just painted gunmetal, some copper, they're all metallics, silver, and then just did some detail work with the threads on, I think this is the left, no, the right, I forget. But yeah, that's how I did the knee pads. I went back after the convention and sprayed them with glossy Mod Podge just to give them more of a shine. But yeah, these were the knee pads and the Courier Duster. Okay, so on to the Vault 101 jumpsuit. I took off the belt because it was falling off anyway. I'll go over this in a minute. Alright, so as I said, this was one of my first costumes. My second one, I made it the week after the Courier Duster for Fandom Con. When I decided to get into cosplay, all the advice I heard was, if you have never made a particular garment before, start with a base that's already made and then do alterations from there. Just alter it into the costume you're going for. This is great advice for someone who's never sewn before. I've been sewing on and off since I was 9 years old, and to be honest, when I bought this ready-made set of men's coveralls, I ended up having to do more work than if I had started from scratch. I went on Amazon and found this set of men's coveralls. It was the smallest I could find and the closest shade I could find to the Fallout 3 jumpsuits, and when it came in, it was still twice as big as me. It was, you know, the shape is designed for men. I'm petite. I actually had to take it apart and then cut it close to my size. I cut it in half, cut off the sleeves, cut every single seam, and when it debuted for Fandom Con, it still didn't fit right because I wasn't working from a pattern. I was just thinking, okay, well, if I just cut each seam and then just cut maybe like an inch off, it would fit okay. That didn't work because, as I said, it's cut for men. It didn't fit my shape at all. So when I decided to reuse this for my recent Tunnel Snake cosplay, I ended up just cutting the seams all over again. And then, as you can see here, look, there aren't even any pockets left because that's how much fabric I had to chop off. I used the same pattern I used for my Soul Survivor Vault 111 jumpsuit, which I did make from scratch. I used that same pattern, and then I just placed these pieces over each piece of the pattern to cut what I could. The end result is still not true to my size, but the Fallout 3 jumpsuits, if you recall, are looser than the original jumpsuits from the first Fallouts and the Fallout 4 jumpsuits. So if I had to do it over again, I would just start from scratch. I just did not enjoy the process of having to cut each seam over and over again. I had to re-sew this zipper on 3 times. Okay, the collar I had to completely alter because, you know, it was one of those flip down collars like this on a normal set of coveralls. So I just cut the collar off and then sewed it so that it would stand. The yellow lines were made from ribbon that I just sewed on and all the way around, pretty sloppily to be honest. And the back numbers, the 101, it was one of those cotton squares that you find at the fabric section in Walmart, and they fray terribly. They just were fraying all over the place, so I had to take the same glue I do for paper mache, which is a mix of Elmer's glue and water, and just kind of painted it over the edges so they would stop fraying. When I sewed them on, if it focuses, I use a zigzag stitch just so it would help keep the numbers from fraying right off. But to cut the numbers, I cut out a picture of the 101 symbol and then just blew it up to the correct size on the back of the jumpsuit, and then just traced it and then just sewed it on just because I didn't want to paint it on. It seemed like it was sewed on in the game. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So yeah, that's how I did the numerals. And same thing with the front numerals on the collar. I just cut the same yellow fabric and I hand stitched them on, which I'm going to have to redo again because the stitch work is atrocious. Yeah, you can see it's already fraying off at the bottom here. So I'll have to re-sew that if I decide to keep this jumpsuit. I was actually thinking of remaking this entire jumpsuit for when I feel like wearing my Tunnel Snake costume in the future, just because I probably won't do Lone Wanderer again, since I've been moving forward in my Fallout cosplays from Fallout 4 and on. The belt. I did make the belt out of craft foam, if I can figure out where I put it. Here. I made it out of craft foam, and I glued the craft foam pieces together on, this was the original waistband of this of the coveralls that I had to chop off completely. So I just reused it as the base for the belt. It's just painted with metallic acrylics, same metallics I use for my prop weapons. I did a little bit of distress work. I just ran out of time when I originally debuted it. So if I do decide to cosplay Lone Wanderer again in the future, I'm going to go ahead and finish distressing the entire belt. Oh, and this is the front of the belt. I just cut out this piece for the buckle, painted it a different shade from the rest of the belt, and just screwed on some little screw pieces just for some detail. So yeah, these are my first two costumes. The props I paired them with were my Pip-Boy 3000 and my 10mm pistol. The Pip-Boy, I just alternated between these two, and I could switch out the, it was a paper screen, I could switch it out between the orange and the green, depending on, you know, which one. And I did do a video on those two props, and I'll have them linked, probably in the description below. And I'll tell you what, since I don't plan to reuse this jumpsuit as it is, I might turn it into something else. I've seen other cosplayers make vault dresses that use the vault suit aesthetic and turn it into a pre-war looking dress. I was thinking of doing something like that, except instead of just a pre-war dress, it would be a full-length wasteland gown, completely distressed, weathered, and maybe with the shoulder armor, instead of the leather armor, it would have something like Tesla armor from Fallout 3, with that lights up with pre-wired LEDs going down my arm. Maybe I'd be holding a plasma pistol, maybe I'd be holding a Tesla can in my right arm because I wasn't too impressed with the Tesla rifle that came with the Automatron DLC in Fallout 4. So maybe I'll build a Tesla cannon to go with that new costume. But if that's something you guys want to see me do, let me know, because that's a project I'd be more than happy to start work on. I can start drafting the conceptual design for a gown like that. And not only would I be using this jumpsuit, I was planning to remake my Vault 111 jumpsuit down the road, because that isn't completely accurate either. So I'd be using material from that, material from this, and I did come up with some little story that comes with that type of dress, where it would have not only Vault 111 on the bustle, because I would be putting the numeric back on the bustle or the train. It would have 111, 101, 21 from New Vegas, and 13 from the original Fallouts, as if I'm someone who found all these vault jumpsuits and pieced them together to make a gown in the wasteland, like a legacy vault suit dress or something like that. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. This is a project I've been thinking of for a while, but I didn't know how the reception would be, or if anyone would really want to see that, or if they want to see me make more accurate costumes from the series. Just let me know. So yeah, potential project down the road. I do plan to make more videos on my actual progress instead of just overviews, because people have been asking if they could see real-life footage of my process as I sew and build these things. So more videos in the future. Until then, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr if you want to see all my progress pics, all my finished pics of each costume and prop as I finish them. I really don't know how to end this video, so thanks for watching.